So what are the things then that we need to slough out? I say to people that when I talk about these talks, that the journey of self-acceptance isn't about learning a whole lot of new stuff. It's about chucking out all the stuff that's not helping us. And one of them is all the ways that I judge and condemn myself. And very often I find that people who are very cynical and critical of others, hey, they reserve the harshest criticisms against themselves. If you go any way deep in it all, you'll see that they, oh my God, the level of condemnation and contempt almost that they have for themselves is very, very powerful. And even just doing this for 10 minutes every morning, I'm just going to watch this. I'm just going to watch this tendency. I'm just going to not analyse it, but become aware of it. It makes a huge difference. And, you know, if we're not in pain ourselves, and if we are physically healthy and we're happy and, yeah, I'm very contented with who I am, I like myself, I just don't need to lash out at other people. I don't need to condemn them and make them wrong. They say that if this is how I am in reality, and this is how I should be, and there's this huge discrepancy between the way I ought to be and how I am, the distance between the two is equivalent to stress. And when we're that stressed, we will lash out at other people, of course, as well as introjecting it back into ourselves as well. Of course, some people, I should say, will only beat up themselves. You know, they may have everybody else up there on the pedestal, and, you know, I'm just useless and no good and whatever, and I'm beaten up on myself. Never realising that we're all of us moving and changing and adjusting in our lives. So, the greater the critic, the greater the self-judgment. And I use this word anger here, but of course I could use any other emotion. Hatred, really heavy number, or jealousy, or fear, or and I'm not making any of these emotions wrong, but any emotion that comes from me and goes out to attack another person is going to rebound. It's just cannot go any other way. So anger, for instance, using that as an example, that's got to pass through my house first. It's got to pass through my body. And I remember when I was working to try and gain mastery over my anger, what really prompted me to be very, very focused on this endeavour was the horrible physical sensations it felt getting angry. It was like a toxic chemical going down through my whole body. It just felt horrible. And that really spurred me on to say, I really want to gain mastery of this. And I say gain mastery, not control, because control is just suppressing it. That the anger just does not go away when we do that. And then to come to this sort of word that we just don't often hear nowadays, which is mercy. Mercy is the opposite of judgment. And there's this wonderful, you know, we find teachers through our lives. Some of the teachers we find are from books. And there's this wonderful man called Stephen Levine, I've read many, many of his books. And he has worked a lot with people, with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, and with people who are dying and helping people through their death process to die beautifully, to die peacefully. And he uses this word mercy. He says, how many of us send harsh criticism and judgment when we're in pain? How many of us condemn our own pain? Oh, just take a few painkillers. Oh, this headache. Oh, just take a few painkillers. Or, oh, bad stomach, a stupid thing is happening again. And we don't send mercy to our pain, we send judgment, or we try to ignore it or push it away because we're too busy out there, busy, to give it space and give it time. So you could say you'd see a little animal suffering, or a little child in pain, or a dear friend or family member, and your heart goes out to them and you want to go over and hold them or hug them or give them some solace, some healing, something. And yet, when we ourselves are in pain, our pain doesn't receive that level of mercy.